Tuesday, the 13th of September, and regardless of how you draw this uptrend line that worked within this ascending triangle, it has broken down towards the downside barely, and it would be right back to that level within here. Oftentimes, you do got to watch out that the first move of a pattern is ultimately not going to work, at least within here and here, breaking this resistance that never made the market go higher, at least not then. And it is below this 18-period average of closes, but again, just barely. And this level, that's really what it's coming down to, holding 38 or breaking 42. Now the high is 49.81, which says 49.53 here because that was now over 100 days ago. And starting on Thursday, the Fibonacci levels are going to decrease because the automated levels will change within it. On the 6-hour time frame, the pattern of lower highs and higher lows was broken within this low. We still need to get above 42 and 2/3, 42 and 3/4 to make another higher high, or one we haven't seen in quite some time. Now, as far as the channel for the market, and it's been very much indecisive for the last weeks or months even, we can draw a trend line within here that connect as many points as you can. Now, it's very common that you can make trend lines that match up well. This one, not as well as I'd like, where something like this works in better, or that it's trading in a much different rate on the support and the resistance level. The significant resistance is this 41 and change mark. Back in here, I wanted to see some sort of level where I could find support in here, and it did. But there's two different levels of support, although there's more, but the way I look at it is you got the original one trying to break away from it, which occurred in here. And then you have a lift of some degree, and this would be some degree, and then you want to find it as support. And it had an opportunity in here, which pretty much worked despite the fact that it had a huge washout down to the $40 level. And then it manages to go higher, but whenever you find a level of support and you're trying to be bullish and you make a lower high, it's harder to hold. And well, that's the case. And now is this level going to work as a level of resistance? It has resisted it once today, as it has managed to come up to this 18-period average of close, which is at 41.22. And the high that I have today is 41.31. So it has hit this level. And the Fibonacci mark is 41.32. So it was a 1 penny hit within this Fibonacci level. Now, what does this mean? Well, what does it connect? Well, it connects periods from way back ago. So, as I was saying on the daily chart, how they were going to start to go lower, these ones are going to start to go higher because it's showing old data. We see the lower band look like this, the moving average. We know that it was coming from an uptrend. So therefore, the bottom of this range will most likely be around 38. I'll probably put that tomorrow, and you won't even see the bottom part of this when I redo the chart. But what this means is this level here at 39.62 needs to hold for the rally that got us up to here to still be real, or not a failure, because it came down here, found support. However, the more often you test support, the more likely it is you'll be taking it out. You find support with a lower high from this level here, and now you're back in it again. So the chances are more likely it takes it out. And again, that doesn't mean it necessarily will, with how indecisive the market has been for quite some time. Now, at the same point, the last previous break high in this situation is here. That's from this high, this low, and this situation in here. So even though we have broken the pattern of lower highs and higher higher lows and lower highs, we really haven't done so yet because we still got this low over this low, because the big level here brought us to here, which brought us back down here, which brought us to this high, which has now currently brought us here. Even though this low is lower than this one, which breaks some of the trends, you still need to get below here, which it hasn't, to really ultimately destroy that trend. And when you can find a confirmation break above here for the intermediate term, then things seem to be getting going. But that's going to be hard to point out because this type of chart is very difficult to swing trade. But within the longer term time frame, the market's holding up very well above this 18 period average on the weekly chart. And there's really two significant Fibonacci levels. Within the automation, I have a low of 1465, which really is a significant low, but this one is more significant, and thus a perfect hit at the support level, which means not only has this move not failed, but it's still going, meaning it's above this significant line. From this high, or the high of 49.81 to this low, the ones I've been talking about have been 38 and 42. So a confirmation break above here tells us that this entire run failed. And oftentimes when a failed move occurs, then a fast move in the opposite direction can sometimes be very common. And the opposite of lower works out to be that of higher. Now, interestingly enough, I was watching some realist news this morning. This is Joe from Florida, and he follows the WebBot a lot more than I do. And he mentioned about the 5 and 20 silver dollar days, which was predicted a long time ago, before this even happened. Starting off with $1, $2 days, which is what I presumed happened here. And then the $5 days were here, because there were two within the big crash $5 down days. Okay, so those were the $5 down days, apparently. Well, according to Cliff High, those were not the days, and the $5 days are about to be happening, and trying to figure out the whens. I mean, WebBot apparently is very weak at getting the whens, but I'm just as bad a lot of the times as it's not an easy thing to predict, because you can see a setup in here where you've got a nice situation where the market's going sideways, correcting through time, but how long is it going to take before it breaks out? I was saying that back in here it's ready to break out. And then months later, it broke out. Therefore, trying to figure out when, well, that can cause a lot of headaches, and sometimes you'll be right, and, well, sometimes you'll be wrong. Take care.